I'm Reverend Jessie, and you're watching Epiphanies. I hope you're in your cozy chair and a cup of tea or a drink close by, because today we are talking about the Buddhist Boot Camp, and it's by Timber Hawkeye. And Buddhism is all about training the mind, and boot camp is an ideal training method for this generation's short attention span. Now there's a cue. The chapters in this small book can be read in any order and are simple and easy to understand. Each story, inspirational quote, and teaching offers mindfulness-enhancing techniques that anyone can relate to. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my guest, Sharon Lewis. Sharon, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me, Jessie.
I'm really pleased you could make it. So, tell me, why did you choose this book?
Well, I just like the teachings. They're very basic, simple teachings that every human being could benefit from that, and it could bring a lot more peace within the world, peace within yourself. The teachings are very simple. The book is easy to read. You can open it at any point in the book and find a motivational a component in it, something that you can relate to your own life.
Wonderful.
And it's not about being a Buddhist. This book is not about being a Buddhist. It's about being a better version of yourself.
Oh, I like that.
Yes,
yeah.
And that's what I really, you know, everybody, I want to be a better version of myself. So,
absolutely.
Yes.
So when did you start reading this?
Probably a couple of years ago when I got it. And then you can just pick it up, and, you know, every day you can look at it, or you can, you know, it's just, I mean, this man took years, you know, like he was in Buddhism for years and years, and he's done a lot of studying, a lot of training, and it's like training your mind. It's mindfulness thinking, and I mean, I would never gonna achieve what this man has, but if I can become better because of some of this stuff, you know, one of the parts in the book that really touched me, you know, is there's an antidote for everything, like anger, for instance. If you're feeling angry or frustrated in a situation, if you change that to gratitude, gratitude and anger cannot exist in that same moment.
Oh, I love
So then the anger fades away.
Yeah.
You know, you say, oh, I'm so thankful that I have that person in my life. That's what I like. It's like a simple reminder, you know, just to move past that and just be able to be in a love place and respecting one another. That's the other thing, respecting where other people are at, because everybody is on a journey and everyone is at a different point in their journeys.
Exactly.
And the nice part is you accept people for that. They don't have to be on your path, your journey. You accept them unconditionally, and love is just, yeah, it's just simple teachings that can be applied to anyone.
Well, you're singing my song, because that's exactly what I believe. So,
yes.
Is there anything in there? I see a couple of tabs. So, is there something in there that you wanted to read to us?
I'll read this bit. It's a little bit about how he came about to write this book.
Okay.
I sat there in front of a Tibetan Lama wearing my maroon robes after years of studying Buddhism. With all due respect, I said, I don't believe the Buddha ever intended for his teachings to get so complicated. My teacher looked around at all the the statues and deities with multiple arms, and chuckled, the Buddha didn't do this, the Tibetan culture did. This is their way. Why don't you try Zen? I think you'd like it. So I guess he went into the Zen monastery. But there are incredible books out there that cover all aspects of religion, philosophy, psychology, and physics. But I was looking for something less academic, so to speak. I was looking for something inspirational that people today would not only have the attention span to read all the way through, but actually understand and also implement in their daily lives. I pictured a simple guide to being happy, and in just 2 words, be grateful. So that's just a little bit of what he,
it's wonderful.
You know, it's, gratitude has a way of turning what we have into enough, and that is the basic idea behind Buddhist Boot Camp.
Wonderful. I really like that, because as you say, everybody's on a different path, and the attention span of kids. I had a couple of teenagers here on Take Your Student to Work Day a while ago, and I asked them if they read, and they said no. And they honestly said, I don't have the attention span for it.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, and
yes,
I thought, wow, what have we done to the next generation coming up that they don't have an attention span long enough to even, get into a book like this.
Grasp into something like this. I know, it's crazy, right? Like, things have changed so much over the time, so now we have to find ways to reach out to those people, right? To help them to make that change, because our whole society has changed so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true, and it's difficult to remember that people are at different levels of understanding and different levels of frequency, and just some aren't even on a journey because it's not their time. They chose to come and be sort of a mirror for those of us.
That's right.
Working towards mindfulness.
Right, because everybody is a teacher to us. That's the beauty of it. You can look around and see, certain situations, certain contacts you have with people and events that happen. They're all lessons for us to learn somehow. No matter where people are in their path, there is something they have to teach you. Yeah. And vice versa. We're all here on this earth to grow and learn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I had an incident occur recently where I love to shop on Facebook Marketplace, and I confirmed that I was buying something. And just before I was to go, she said, somebody else has offered me more money, will you match it? The old me would have been furious. But I just said, nope, no problem. Nope, it's hers, that's great. And I reflected on that later, and I thought, oh, thank heavens. The old me would have been righteously indignant and would have told her what I thought of her behavior. What business is it of mine what her behavior is? It only matters what my behavior is, and I was so pleased to see that reflected to me, how much I've grown. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, that's amazing, because that's exactly true. And he speaks of that too, right? Stepping back and then, it's got nothing to do with you, you know what I mean? Just in being able to see that growth in yourself is amazing, right?
Yeah, I was really excited all day that
and then you feel better about yourself too, right? It's all about feeling better about yourself, respecting yourself, loving yourself, and giving that same respect to others, right?
Yeah, and recognizing that what someone else does has nothing to do with you.
Yes.
It's the way they walk their path.
Yeah.
And you can't change that, and bringing anger to it and conflict doesn't change it.
It doesn't change it.
So it's best to step back and just be the observer self and go, oh, that was interesting, and just let it go, because otherwise I'm using up my energy.
Exactly.
It's like that old saying, taking poison to kill the person you're mad at.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, being able to step back, and it's because when everything you're saying, he speaks, so he talks of that. So it's amazing too that that you're there. But just recognizing that is like an amazing thing, right? When you start to see yourself in different situations where you would pitch, okay, what would I have been like 20 years ago in that situation? Well, I would not have dealt with it the same way today as I did 20 years ago. Yeah. So you know that you've grown over time and things have changed, and it's books like this and teachings like this that help propel you forward and help you to become that person, right? So that you can be that strong, caring, loving person, non-judgmental, and just
allow people to be who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're all walking each other home.
Yes, it's saying, like, one of the things he says in here is about the truth. Everybody, you might believe something to be true, but the next person beside you has a belief around the same thing, but he believes it's true as well. So who's to say that my belief is in fact the truth, and theirs isn't? So just accepting that too, right? Like they're on a different spot on the journey, a different place. So
I love that. Yeah. So is there something else that you found in there that you want to share with us?
Yes, let me see, I get here. Yes, here. Your beliefs don't make you a better person. Your behavior does.
And there
there we are, just talking about that. And here the other one is talking about a bit about meditation. Meditation is a method of training. So this is kind of what you're training your mind, right? So different thing. Meditation is a method of training the mind to remain calm despite the continuous flux of external conditions. Prayer is a way of expressing our deep appreciation of God, Mother Nature, or the universe at large for the gift of life. A true prayer is one of gratitude. This is a lot about gratitude, which is you replace gratitude and you don't have the anger, right? Or you don't have the anxiety. And so a true prayer is one of gratitude for the blessings in our lives. It is not a time to be greedy or to beg for more. We already have everything we need in order to be happy. So even saying, God, please give me the strength, which I've said that many times, implies that we don't already have it. When we actually do, simply say, thank you for the strength.
Yeah.
Thank you for the strength. And you will be empowered to tap into that unlimited power. By being grateful for what we have, we generate energy toward more of the same. So don't focus on what you don't have, because energy flows where intention goes. And we know that, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meaning that you would just wind up with more of what you don't want. Meditate to keep your mind firmly fixed in the right direction, and it'll raise your awareness of things to be grateful for in your prayers. See the beautiful relationship between you and the practice. So I just thought that was beautiful, because, I mean, even coming here today, like I just said, all week long, I am so thankful, grateful that Jessie invited me to be here to be able to share this. So, yes.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I know that it was, you kind of were facing this with a little trepidation, and a lot of my guests are, like, they think it's going to be something more than it is. We're just sitting here having a cup of tea and talking about great books and talking about the path that we're on. So, yeah, I do find that when I'm grateful first, then everything changes. I was on my way to a speaking engagement, and I was really nervous because I wasn't, I don't like to make notes. I just fly by the seat of my pants. So I started to think about what I wanted to say, and I realized that everything that had happened in my life, I was counting my blessings. And by the time I got halfway there, I had such a huge smile on my face, and I was laughing because it was just so wonderful.
Yeah.
And it really just turned things around for me. So.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah. Now, do you meditate as a regular practice?
I do. Starting to do that more. I'm starting to do yoga is a form of meditation, because you go into a meditative state, like a deep relaxation, which is like a meditative state. So I've been doing a bit more of that lately, and just trying to just go within and trying to do that on a daily basis. I mean, when you say meditate, you don't have to meditate for an hour at a time. You can take 5 minutes and go sit by yourself. You need that, and just to bring in that white light, just bring in that warm energy, just calm yourself. It can be done anywhere. It doesn't have to become, and the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you will do it. You know what I mean? And the more you're going to feel better, so you're going to want to do it. So.
And that's what I hear lots of people saying, is that the more you do it, the longer you want to be at it.
Yes.
And the thing is, if I don't have time for a long meditation, I'll just light a candle and thank God for my life.
There you go. There's a meditation right there, right? Like a simple,
Yeah. And then if I'm babysitting my puppies, I turn on my fireplace, because there's the fire, and I watch the light of the fire, and
watch the dance of life. Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful for being there and having this.
Yes.
And that really is the way, I think, to face everything in your life. As you've already said, be grateful for what you have, and say thank you for what you have. Before, I keep saying before, I guess I'm thinking before you ask. I do struggle with that, because I often forget. I was doing something last night, and I said, God, give me the strength. And then I immediately followed up with, that I already have. Give me the strength to practice it,
Yes,
So,
exactly. I know. It's just bringing that back to yourself, right? When you get in a situation, just remember that we all have all the tools we need to do what we need to do in this life, right? And to be able to share that with other people and stuff. So yes.
So speaking of sharing, first of all, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us? Because I see more tabs there that you haven't gotten to yet.
There is one more, because I'm liking these antidote things. So like the the anger with the gratefulness, right? So this one, I approach fear the same way. I approach fear the same way, almost everything else in life, with an antidote. Here's what I mean. Anger and gratitude, for example, cannot coexist in the same thought. It is cognitively impossible. The moment you are angry, your spouse, for example, is the moment you stop being grateful for having them in your life in the first place. Yet the moment you go back to gratitude, the anger goes away. So then the next one, okay, I'll go to this part first. So the trick, instead of focusing on all of the energy on letting go of the anger, focus on increasing the gratitude. So don't think, okay, help me, Lord, to get rid of this anger, this feeling. No, I am so grateful. Like, you try to think of more gratitude things, and it changes the dynamics of why you're feeling that way, right? So
I'm just going to interject, because what I want to formulate for our watchers, our viewers, is that you're probably sitting there thinking, how can I be grateful for this person who's hurt me, or who said something horrible, or has made me so angry? Well, the whole point is to be grateful that they are bringing you this lesson about yourself, and to look inside and see, why would I be so angry? What needs to be healed in me that has brought up this anger? So I just wanted to flesh that out a little, so
that's
that people
true
understand.
too. Exactly, right? Because it's, obviously there's a reason you're becoming angry, right? It could be something in, your own baggage coming up or whatever, right? Obviously, a lot of times.
And my teachings has always said that when we are hit with a reactive feeling like that, if it's triggering you here, it's got history here.
Right.
And so it isn't this person and it isn't this thing. So why bring conflict and reactivity and anger into this moment? Search within yourself and find out what it is that made you angry before, or caused you to feel this way, so that you can look at it and heal it.
Exactly.
Because nobody else can heal what's inside you, because they don't know what's in there. So they don't know your history.
Yes.
And they're not probably trying to make you angry. I mean, there are people who, for their own woundedness, will cast that upon you. But in reality, they're just acting out their own wounds.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And he does talk about that a little bit too, about how to do that, right? So that's a very good point. Thank you for saying that. And then the other one was fear. Fear has an antidote. And I spent years envious of people who had faith, because I was too logical to understand it, which was frustrating, because I'd heard it said that if you feed your faith, then all your fears will starve to death. Interesting.
Nice.
And now I know it's powerfully true. So faith is trusting the process. You see, something is making your heart beat right now. Something's making my heart beat right now. Your lungs function, the grass grows, the planets spin. So whether we admit it or not, we have faith. We have faith that our heart will keep beating, and that we'll wake up in the morning. We don't know this, we trust it. So that is an interesting antidote for fear, is the faith, like knowing that, like you really do have faith, because you're trusting that, hey, this is, I'm going to keep on breathing. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do this. So that's a faith. And,
I love that, because as a minister, even though I'm a spiritual minister as opposed to a religious minister, I find that when I mention faith, I can see people roll their eyes, because they don't. A lot of people have been hurt by religion, or have had nothing to do with religion, and they don't really. They don't know who God, the creator, the divine source, universe, energy, they don't know who that is or what that is. And so talking to them about faith, they go like, faith in what? So I love that, about having faith in the fact that your own heart is beating.
Right.
And will keep beating.
Right. And
that you will wake up tomorrow, and it's a whole new day to practice being your best self.
Yes, I know. And see, I mean, this isn't about any religion, right? This is not anybody. These teaching can go towards anybody, right? That's the thing I like about it. It's not based on any specific religion. Buddhism is basically how most people should strive to be, in my mind. But anyhow, because of the, but well,
are you a practicing Buddhist?
I'm not, but I just want to practice some of these basic principles. Right?
As far as I'm concerned, anything that lifts you up and makes you feel better
Yeah.
about yourself, practice it. To me, all roads lead home.
That's what it's saying.
So-
It talks about all religions, that anybody can learn from these teachings, right? Well, you don't have to be a Buddhist to learn from the teachings, which is awesome. But yeah, the faith thing really I thought that's so interesting, that the way it's put, because then you know, like you're saying about people, when you talk about religion or spiritual, they think all religion, and if they're not, but this is not like that whatsoever. It's just having faith that
that things will go on.
Go on.
And I mean, you know, I can hear, it's funny, I can always hear people saying in my mind, well, what if I don't wake up tomorrow? Well, then you're home. You know, lucky you.
Yeah.
If you have faith, it starts to grow so that you just have faith in everything, and you trust that wherever I wind up tomorrow is where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And all the veils will fall away from our eyes, and we'll be able to see that our journey was about finding out who we are and being a better us, and all of that.
For sure.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
So tell me, how long, we're going to jump into you for a little bit. You're a Reiki master.
Yes.
And how long have you been practicing Reiki?
Well, I had got my level 1 2000. So then there was a bit of a gap between that and the other. So 2004 is when I finished my level 3, the Reiki master. Yes.
Now, don't you find that interesting? So many people I've talked to said, yeah, I did my level 1, and then I just kind of, you know, let that hang. You know, some people used it, some people didn't. They put it on a back shelf.
A lot of people do. The reason I didn't do it right away is because my teacher moved away.
Ah, okay.
She moved out west, and so I just practiced, I mean, that whole time, and then I ended up finding somebody in Midland, so it worked out in the end to finish it with another friend, so that was nice.
Good. So in 2004, you became a Reiki master.
Yes.
Now, you are a solo entrepreneur, or a solopreneur.
Yes.
So did you start your practice right then?
I didn't start right away. I just practiced, you know, like you practice on your family and friends and pets and whatever, plants, whatever. Everything's made up of energy, so everything can have a benefit from healing energy. So, yeah, but I eventually did have a room in my home, not this place that I'm at now, but the other home I lived in. And so I had a Reiki office there for a while, so that was nice. And then 2 years ago, I believe, I was working out of a clinic, and I had worked out of that clinic for 2 years on Mary Street, so that was a really nice setting too, and like-minded practitioners in there, so that was kind of nice. But now I'm back into my home, which is another, it's beautiful, and you know, I can control the quietness and
the
stuff,
environment,
you know, environment a bit more.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's just hard when people are coming in and out and stuff. But yeah, I love it there, and it's just a beautiful little space. And yes, yeah.
So what does it mean to you to be able to practice Reiki?
I love Reiki. I can actually say I love what I do, and I'm doing what I love.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, can you explain to me, I mean, I know, but explain to me, what is Reiki in your own words?
Well, it's hands-on healing. It's channeled healing. It's channeled life force energy that I'm channeling into the body. It's not a religion. It is spiritual in nature, and I help to channel healing into the body. And some people look at it as energy work, which it is, because you're channeling healing energy. And I just put my hands on different energy points on the body, the chakras. Some people, like I put my hands on, but if people aren't comfortable with that, then no, you don't have to. You can put your hands above because the aura is around. So, but yes, I love it. I love to see people get into that deep relaxation. It's amazing for helping our bodies to calm down, to reduce stress. I've had some amazing healings on my table, so...
Can you tell me about any of them?
Well, okay, this one here I can tell because this person, this isn't a major one, but I have had a major one too, but this person told me I could share it, so I feel like I can share it. So he was on my table, I was just giving him a little mini treatment, just to introduce him a little bit to it, and he had this growth on his forehead, And so I never said anything about it. I just continued to work on him. And I think it was a week and a half after the Reiki treatment, I saw him in a Tim Hortons. He goes, "Sharon, look, look." And he points to a thing, and it was starting to flake off. He says, "This thing is coming off." And I go, "Oh." He said, "Yeah, I'm supposed to go have a biopsy on it. It's been growing on my forehead for 5 years." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm glad it's coming off." And then I see him a week later at a business thing. "Sharon, look." Totally gone. The thing is totally gone. He called his, I guess, dermatologist it would be that would have done the biopsy. Whoever would do the biopsy, probably a dermatologist. And he told him, "I don't need the biopsy, it's gone." They're going, "Oh, wow, that's amazing."
So
that's a minor one.
Yeah, I don't think that's so minor myself, but okay.
Yeah, it's funny. And it actually happened to my husband as well, because, I mean, here I am sharing this one, but he also had this spot on his forehead when I said, "Why don't you come to the clinic and let me give you a treatment in the clinic," right? Because I have a table at home as well. I did have a table both places, but so I did a treatment on him, and then we're in a hot tub, and he goes, "You know, that thing on my forehead is starting to flake off." I go, "You're serious?"
Wow.
You're serious, right?
So you're a spot healer.
Yeah, so the guy, the original person that came to me, he jokes, he says, "Oh, you have a thing about getting rid of growth on people," but yeah, it ended up, no, those are minor things, but I've had an amazing experience with a young person that actually made a life-changing, she went from not wanting to live to
wanting to live
and be,
yes. And as a result of the Reiki treatments.
Yes. So
wonderful.
Yes. So I feel blessed to be able to do that. I've been given a gift.
Thank you for sharing those stories, and thank you for coming today. I'm really thrilled about that book. I want to borrow it.
I know.
I don't always get a chance to read the books before people come, so thank you so much.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Thank you to my viewers for joining us on Epiphanies here today, and we'll see you next time with another guest and a new book. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.